page 1, the very first sentence is a gaslighting lie. It says you were in the United Kingdom because you are seeking asylum. No. No, most of these people entering the country illegally are not seeking asylum. In fact, some of them are expressly coming here in order to rape women. That's true. I've said it for years. People thought I'd gone mad. I was an Islamophobe. I was a monster, a xenophobe. No, I was just pointing out a very obvious fact, that if you import men from deeply misogynistic countries where they regard Western women as a free-to-ride entertainment entity that they can use at their pleasure, regardless of the consequences, then guess what? They're going to do just that, aren't they? That they come from countries where they don't even get a glimpse of an ankle, and they dream of the days they can access the women that are on their phones in the porn videos, the women being used by people traffickers to entice people onto small boats. Come to Britain. Look at them. They're so young. They're so scantily clad. If you're lucky, they'll even be drunk. And they're all yours for the cost of paying to get in this giant inflatable dinghy. That has been going on for years. Now, we know, don't we, what it's like in Afghanistan for women. We spent quite a long time trying to fight against the Taliban. We knew what we were up against. So why we suddenly think we can import men from that country and they're going to behave like, I don't know, beatified individuals, saints, Father Teresas, that they land on the shores of Dover and suddenly have a frontal lobal transformation, that they completely change into an upstanding English gentleman, requisites, replete with all of our cultural mores. Who are you kidding? Who are you kidding? Let me explain something, OK? The government fairly recently moved to ban the breeding and owning of XL bullies. Now, why did they do this? Well, they did this because those are dangerous dogs. Those dogs have been brought up to maim, to kill, to attack. They didn't set out a little leaflet of how you then take your XL bully to a special puppy school and turn it into, I don't know, a seeing eye dog for the blind. No, they decided that XL bullies were fundamentally beyond salvation and posed a danger to society. If you are someone with a licence to have one of those dogs, if you walk it around in the park without a muzzle, it's a criminal offence. Now, let's look at these men coming from countries like Afghanistan, Syria, the Maghreb, Middle East, you know, predominantly very Muslim countries. They've been brought up from a young age to believe that women should be shamed, possibly stoned, if they don't even cover their hair. They've been brought up to regard non-Muslim women as people that they can take as slaves. They have been brought up from a very, very young age to think that flashing a knee is essentially the equivalent of being a prostitute. They have been brought up from a very young age to believe that the West is evil. And so why, if they have been inculcated and brainwashed from birth in a culture, or perhaps a cult, which has those attitudes, are they not considered dangerous? They don't have to be on a leash as they walk around the parks. No, they sit on park benches doing what the hell they want. They go outside school gates doing what the hell they want. And this government, this blimmin' government has made this utterly jaw-dropping document, saying to these new illegal arrivals, please don't rape women. We know you want to, which is why we've had to make this document, so please don't. You might have a few difficulties with your asylum application if you go on a rape-a-thon. I mean, they know that these men are dangerous. Do they think that they're going to sit and read this and go, do you know what? Oh, I never realised I've seen the light. I respect women so much, I cannot wait to go and tell the world, especially all my brethren back at home, how actually Western girls are a delight. They should be treated like little princesses. I'll never look at one the wrong way again. Do they live in cloud cuckoo land? No, but they think we do. Because they think that as well as pretending that this is normal behaviour, that these men pose no risk, that the best thing they can do is spread the wealth, share them out around the country. No, 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 don't you put them in the areas where they might sort of semi-integrate with people of their kith and kin. Why don't we put them into HMOs in the heart of rural villages where no one will have eyes on about what they're up to, where they're hardly going to be entertained joining the local harvest this October, are they? No, what are they going to do sitting around all day with their deeply misogynistic attitudes? I wonder what they will get up to. And on top of that, to add insult to injury, the government at the moment is spending your money and my money actively using the courts to try and prevent the publication of data about crimes committed by nationality, specifically sex crimes by nationality. Why are they doing that? Well, you know, we can't handle that information. We know what it is already. We know that there is a grotesque overrepresentation of Afghanistans and Eritreans and Sudanese and Somalis among those who have gone out and violently abused, attacked and raped women. 2 stories in the newspaper today. 2 separate groups of Afghan males. One raped a young girl on a train to Kent. The other held a knife to the throat of the boyfriend, or the first date actually, of a girl that they raped in the middle of a park. Oh, don't you worry about that. Nothing to see here. These men aren't dangerous. No, no, no. All they need is a leaflet. And anybody who says otherwise is still a far-right racist. But not only that, it gets better. Because the Equalities Minister, you know, the one who might have something to say about this, about, I don't know, perceived dangers to girls, the safety of women in the United Kingdom, that's kind of her remit. No, she's done it again, hasn't she, Bridget Phillips? Because she said, don't you mind this. No, 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 no. They're poor little asylum seekers. They don't know coochie-coo. We've got to give them everything they want, poor little lambs. No, the problem are the white men. Oh, it's the young boys today filling the classroom with extreme misogyny. Now, I'm not saying that that's not a thing. I'm not saying there isn't a manosphere. I'm not saying that there aren't coarser and coarser attitudes being disseminated via the internet against women. I know that that's true. I know. Well, do something about it rather than just talk about it. But mainly this. This, my friend, is actually causing a crime spree. This is causing a list of victims to grow exponentially. Because you, everyone in government, you, everyone in Whitehall, you in the NGOs, you immigration lawyers, you or your leftist virtue-signalling, venal, horrible zombies, you would rather carry on the pretense, wouldn't you? That all these asylum seekers are the victims, and that anybody who points out the trends that are happening around the country that we're reading in the newspapers day in, day out are deranged, are evil, are deluded, are dangerous and divisive. You are so wedded to telling us this lie, to gaslighting us, to hold on to your nasty little jobs where you can perpetuate this cycle of doom against young women and girls. You are so obsessed with being proven right, with your own sense of self-worth, your own addiction to virtue signalling, that you will happily continue to see little girls up and down the country being molested, harassed, attacked and violently raped by men who have come to this country with the express desire to do just that. As long as your salary and your cosy little job and your position on your throne of bones on the top of the blimmin' mountain of stinking lies is preserved, it doesn't matter if every last woman in this country feels unsafe in her neighbourhood. No, no, no. Keep spreading the asylum seekers as far and wide as possible until every last village, every last suburb, every last train journey, every last bus, every last school gate is like running the gauntlet. You disgusting, horrible, wicked human beings. Because when a society fails to protect its own women and girls and can see, has the empirical evidence of what is going on and decides instead to lambast, demonise, ostracise and try and force out of public life anybody who's calling out that fact in order to safeguard and protect women and girls, when you're picking your own synthetic virtue and social standing over and above our sisters, mothers, wives, daughters, you, my friend, are wicked. You're wicked. I hope you can't sleep at night.